Arch to hollows. This is gonna be the first installment of our arch to hollow into the toe to bar series. Today, we're gonna talk about a few things that we do with a lot of our newer members, and even some people that come from other gyms, to work on the arch to hollow and to create the best toe to bar that they can. The biggest issue that we often see is a lack of tension or a loss of tension, and usually that happens when we lose the displacement between the foot and then wherever the shoulder is away from the bar. One of the things that we do, especially in our gymnastics classes, is that we give people some kind of object, whether it's a furniture slider or even a slingshot band, and we allow them to feel what it would be like to keep everything tight the entire time, all the way through the lower part of the body. Coach Isaac is going to go over 3 different types of toes to bar with you, and we utilize them for different reasons, different kinds of workouts. They're all a little bit different. What I'm going to do today is begin the process just by talking about how to create tension and how to avoid some of the major pitfalls that we have when we begin the toe to bar. One thing about learning things through video is that it's usually best to have a coach on hand to help you with these things. There are some fundamentals that we're not going to go over that you would learn if you were in a gym more than likely. Hopefully this helps you with just some easy tips to make your toes to bar better. As we get into this, we're assuming that you understand active shoulders, we're assuming you understand grip. There's a few things that we're not going to go over that you would need to know to do the toe to bar. We're going to use this really quickly. This is sort of one of the ways that we find that it helps people to stay virtuous in the movement. Some of what we're going to demonstrate today is a little high level, and some of it's not going to necessarily serve you in a workout. The reason we even have our gymnastics course is truly to sort of make these movements almost harder, and then the hope is that we take those movements into the workouts and all of a sudden they're easier because we can cut some corners, we can bend the legs a little bit, we can increase the speed maybe, and reduce all the tension on the grip with all the long movements that we're doing. What you will have just noticed is that I'm trying to keep my legs as long as possible. I'm pointing my toes, and I'm making sure that there's no bend in my lower back. So the only part where I'm creating my momentum is through my upper back here, and not this way, and also not breaking my legs, right? And this is one of the drills that we start to use, especially with new people, to be like, hey, can you be virtuous? Can you keep your legs straight? Can you make sure that your movement's not happening through your lower back? Anytime we see people that are like, hey, X gymnastics movement hurts my back, there may be a confounding issue, but outside of that, it's because we're not doing it right. We're not actually moving through the upper back. We should be moving through the upper back, but we're probably creating our momentum by just curling our lower back and our feet. One of the things we try to do is make sure that our athletes stay nice and tight to the bar. We often see people that maybe struggle with gymnastics to begin with, and they have these huge displacements. There's too much amplitude in the swing. Typically we want amplitude, big amplitude, maybe if there's like a bar muscle up or like a ring muscle up potentially. With our more advanced athletes, we still are asking them to be pretty tight, and there's a couple reasons, but as soon as I get bigger, it's going to be harder to control. It's also not going to be as fast or as powerful. So what we're trying to do looks a lot like this. And you'll notice that when I start to break, at the hip, all of a sudden, my back is like this, and it's perpendicular to the ground, instead of having nice displacement on either side. This has been Basil with Verdant CrossFit. Just talking about some of the beginning parts of the toes to bar. Hope it helps.